da, da. The Villages news. There. Let's start off with, oh yeah, this is great. Right off the get-go. Right off the get-go. Can you see his face? There you go. There's Mommy's little boy. The adult son of a Villages couple was apprehended Thursday afternoon after he jumped into a retention pond in the village of Lynnhaven while fleeing law enforcement. Eric Blom, B-L-O-M, 51, who lives with his parents at 729 Alcott Avenue, was arrested at about 4 p.m. Thursday afternoon after jumping into a retention pond near the Lynnhaven neighborhood pool. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies had received a tip that Blom, who was wanted on a probation violation, was in the area. He fled on foot when spotted by deputies and jumped into the pond. Gator bait. He made threats and refused to leave the retention pond. A hostage negotiation team was called out along with a drone operator. Well, I'm sure the hostage negotiator probably just said, please come out. There's alligators out there. If you do not come out, you could be eaten. Stupid. Why is a 52-year-old living with mommy and daddy? Come on. Hey. By the way, most of these that I'm reading you, every now and then there is one that's current, but most of these that I do read you are roughly a week old. Enthusiasm running high for pricey waterfront lots at Chitty Chatty. That's the new village that they're starting to work on, the village of Chitty Chatty, which is, depending on how far that area goes, it's the closest, I think the closest village to Brownwood and shopping at the Rohan area right there. Next to it's a shopping center called Lake Deaton Shopping, I think. It's the closest village south of 44 to that. So people have been waiting for Chitty Chatty because that's where they want to be. Villager to lose license after crash near Morris family compound. Who knows? Drunk? Let me see. 68-year-old villager will lose her driver's license after her arrest in December outside the Morris family compound. Barbara Pergavi Reno. Can't hardly pronounce that. Oh, there she is. I recognize that face. I probably read this back in December. Had been driving a 2016 Chevrolet passenger car at about 6:30 p.m. on December 6th when a crash occurred, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Police Office. A deputy saw that Reno was extremely unsteady on her feet and nearly unable to stand. She admitted she had been drinking at home and consumed too much. Well, that's the end of that story. She done admitted it. I think that's about all that. See what else we got. Dunkin' Donuts will have a brand new location in the Villages. Oh, great. Another Dunkin' Donuts. It just seems to me that in all three square areas, and possibly the Finney area too, it's the same, not always, but 90% of it, it's the same people, same companies, same corporations getting in each and every place. Like Publix grocery store is like one of the only grocery stores you can go to. Now you can go outside the Villages and you can find other things. And there is a Winn-Dixie in a couple places, I believe. But other than a Winn-Dixie, you know, you're really kind of stuck to go to Publix. I'm not saying anything bad about Publix or Winn-Dixie. I'm just saying that's about it. 2J's restaurant, every square. Cody's Steakhouse, every square, every area of the Villages. And it goes on and on. I mean, city fire, every area, I believe. I'm not sure about Spanish Springs if there's a city fire there. There may not be. But a Gators. And I know there's a couple different Gators. Gators Dockside, and then I think just plain Gators. But basically, you know, every square. So it gets a little monotonous after a while, you know. And that's why I kind of get bored with the food. Because just like the country clubs, Bonifay, Evans Prairie, Belle Glade, Bonefish Grill, the ice cream place in Brownwood, I can't remember, Scooples. They're all owned by the same, they're not owned actually, they rent them buildings, but basically those restaurants and things is the same corporation, the same people. And so when you go to these places, in my opinion, like Bonifay, the food there ain't no better, no worse than Evans Prairie. Evans Prairie is no better, no worse than Belle Glade. It's all the same crap. If it comes off a Cisco truck, that's what they serve. You know, to be this close to the Gulf and the ocean, and to get no fresh seafood. And I know people's going to tell you, oh yeah, this place is better than that place is better than this place, and I'm not going to dispute any of that. I don't know, I don't care. But to be this close to all that fresh seafood, and if you're ever up at 2, 3, and 4 o'clock in the morning, and I am sometimes, and sometimes I'll even go for a golf cart ride on a warm night, because I'm used to working third shift my whole life. You'll see nothing but Cisco trucks or food trucks driving around the villages with keys, going in the back door at all these different restaurants and filling up their freezer. There's no fresh anything. And I'm not real sure about the lighthouse at Lake Sumter. I've been up there several times, and I've ate the food. I'm not saying it's bad. Fresh? Not too sure about that. Because I go over to Punta Gorda a lot, to Harpoon Harry's, Captain's Table, places over there. And the boats dock right outside the restaurants. And I've had fresh. And around the villages? I don't think so. And I also think it's a little overpriced. After saying that, being in Rockport, Texas, I am on the Gulf. I look out the window and I can actually see the Gulf. I see the shrimp trawlers go out. I see the oyster harvesters go out. I've been to several restaurants already for lunch, and I've gotten a lot of seafood. I figure I'm here, I'm going to eat seafood. The seafood is fresh. It is good. But it's probably some of the most expensive stuff you can buy here. I'm always fascinated by that. In Florida, orange juice is very pricey. And yet, well, once upon a time, they had orange groves everywhere. And it was still, even then, it was some of the priciest stuff you could get for breakfast. You could get a $6 breakfast, and then a large glass of orange juice cost you $5. And that ain't no kidding. It used to be that way. I don't know if it's still that way or not. Here, seafood is everywhere. Everywhere. And it's the priciest stuff you can get. I was looking at the dinner menu yesterday at Key something. If you're not watching my RV channel, go watch it. You'll see it. And I told Sue, I said, the food's good and the atmosphere is good. I got no problem with any of that. The service was good. Our servers there were super good and super nice. But I look at the menu, and almost every seafood dish on there, well, I'll say was like, an average of, say, $25 a person, not including a drink. All the way up to, I seen one dinner, I forget what it was now. It seems to me it was a seafood platter kind of thing. It had oysters and shrimp, and I don't know what else was on it. I don't want to say because I don't remember, but it had combination stuff, which generally that's what I like to get. It was $32.50, I think, per plate, not including drink. Just figure that up for just two people. You know, you're talking $65 plus drink, so you're talking that plus tip, what, $80, $85 for dinner? You know, that's a little pricey for me to do that. Once in a while is okay, but to go out on a daily basis, that wouldn't be the place I'd go every day. But then again, maybe it's not designed for that. But you can eat other things there too. I was just looking at the seafood part. But this Dunkin' Donuts, where's it going to be at? I'm looking here. Dunkin' Donuts. By the way, I'm not a Dunkin' Donuts fan. I have gone there. I will go there and get a latte. I will go there and get a donut at Brownwood if I have to. But here's what I'm sick of the donut shops. I just get so tired of it. And Dunkin' Donuts is the worst about it. You go in and you got a choice of a really very few racks of different kinds of donuts. I don't even know what they got anymore. 9 different types of donuts at any given time. You go in there, you got that kind, 9 kinds. And if one of them gets sold out, now you're down to 8 kinds. No, I don't like that at all. I just came from a place here called Rockport Donuts or something or another. They got the factory in the back. They're bringing them out front as fast as they can. The place was packed. That's the kind of donut shop I'm looking for. They serve 101 different kind of donuts. You go in there and pick out whatever you want. The Dunkin' Donuts? Nah. I'm not a fan. See, a late summer opening is being targeted for the new Dunkin' Donuts located at Colony Plaza. Oh, I remember Sue talking about that. It's over there next to that chicken place, chicken sandwich place. I can't remember her name. PDQ, is that it? Yeah, Bob Evans over there and all that. It's right there. Remember her talking about that. It'll be one of them places that if I do visit, it'll be very rare. I won't be going there very often. That's just me. Wife remains jailed after a knife threat against husband in the Villages. It looks like the village of Tall Trees. Here recently in the news, village of Tall Trees has been in the news several times, just like Osceola Hills. Those two have been in the news a lot. Don't know what's going on there. I know in Osceola Hill, there's a particular older guy, like 51 years old, that lives with mommy and daddy. And he's been arrested many times. He's caused a lot of trouble over there. Why mommy and daddy don't kick this guy out and go get a job somewhere and go get you an apartment or something is beyond me. But the neighbors has complained. He's labeled as a problem child. He's 51 years old. Or thereabouts. A wife remained jailed nearly a week after allegedly threatening her husband with a kitchen knife in the Villages. Here we go again. A child living in the Villages. What are these kids doing living in a retirement community? Get a life. Get out. Nobody owes you anything. Nobody owed me anything. Go get a job. Elizabeth Sage Levy, 26, is facing a charge of aggravated assault following her arrest in the early morning hours this past Friday at the home of her mother-in-law in the village of Tall Trees. Well, she might have been visiting. Sumter County Sheriff's deputies were called at the home on Welcome Way after Levy took a 6-inch knife from the kitchen and chased her husband around the couch. According to the arrest report, they began arguing Thursday night, and it continued for several hours before Levy's husband asked her to leave. That is when Levy apparently became enraged and grabbed the knife. She demanded that her husband drive her to Jacksonville. Levy said she wouldn't kill him. Oh, gee, thanks. I'm sure he was grateful to that. If he didn't take her to Jacksonville, the husband told deputies he was afraid his wife of several months was going to stab him. Son, get rid of her, dump her, divorce her, use any language you want there, and get yourself as far away from her as possible. That's my only advice to you. I can only hope that there's no children here involved. Villages official urges examination of safety on multi-mogul trails. Yeah. I've already expressed my opinion about it, and everybody's got their opinion about it, and that's fine. But I'm here to tell you that if they don't do something about this sharing of this golf cart trail for every roller skater and skateboarder and whatever else, you're going to see more and more and more accidents and people getting killed. It's going to happen. I think in Finney area, they've kind of learned their lesson on some of this. Down there, they have walking trails only, and they have, I don't know, all different kind of trails down there. And they do have golf cart paths too. And I think bicycles can be on them golf cart paths. I don't agree with that. But the bicycles will tell you that's the way it should be. I don't agree with that. But, the millions and millions of dollars they collect in amenity fees each and every month. And I know it costs a lot to mow and clean and maintain and all that stuff. But some of the frivolous spending that I've seen in the villages for so many things, and they can't afford to put in bicycle paths, I don't know. I had a suggestion on one of my videos, because I don't know who watches them and I don't know who don't watch them. I can only hope that that somebody in importance watches some of it, and they can take it with a grain of salt. They can take it any way they want. I don't really care. But I have had a suggestion on a few things, and I have talked to literally hundreds of other people and saying, what do you think about this? And each and every one of them agrees with me about it. One is, we have a hurricane here, we have a tornado in the villages, all these kinds of things. None of the rec centers can be used as a safety shelter. None of them. Now, hurricane safety shelter, no. You would think so, wouldn't you? But they're not. They won't. They lock them up. And you can't use your local rec center either. They lock them up, kick you out. And so I thought, there should be a company, or maybe the developer should at least have this offering in new homes being built. If you want that, another $10,000, you can have this or that, right? Why they can't take every master bedroom walk-in closet and shore it up and build it in such a way with special doors, special supports, where that is the safety shelter in your house. Tornado's coming, it's heading straight for your house. You go in the master bedroom, walk-in closet, lock the door, and hunker down. That's your safety shelter. And they don't even offer that. And I've been in many areas of the country that is offered. And I just find it strange that for as much as money as they pay for lots and houses and all this and that those things aren't offered. I think they should be. It's a safety factor. You guys, when you go in there and talk to them about buying a new house and everything, bring that up. And you tell them that I told you to. Let's get the bees a buzzing. The village is expected to nearly double in size in next 20 years. I believe that, if not sooner. CDD 7 considers secession from PWAC after expansion south of State Road 44. Well, that'll be interesting to see how that works out. We'll see. We will see, as they say. Daughter arrested after standoff with cops at parents' home in the villages of Tall Trees. Says the 50-year-old woman, so it's not the same girl. I'm waiting for a picture. There we go. There we go, right there. Come on, focus that. See that? That girl lives with her mommy and daddy. She can't seem to quite make it in life. 50-year-old woman was arrested Wednesday after a 35-minute standoff with law enforcement at her parents' home in the village of Tall Tree. Sumter County deputies at about 10 p.m. went to the home, 2518 Five Fork Trail, and saw Carrie Ann Holchuk through the glass front door. She was asked to step outside, but instead closed the front door and locked it. It took 35 minutes for Holchuk to finally surrender to the deputy. She was arrested on charges of possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and resisting arrest. Her arrest stemmed from an accident Sunday night in which her golf cart had been stopped by deputies at Morris Boulevard and Madero Drive. There you go. Bringing them druggy kids into the retirement community so the rest of us have to worry about it. A cook at City Fire in the Villages lands in jail for second time. Let me see. Drugs. Let me see. Samuel Douglas Bishop III, 32 of Lady Lake area. Come on, focus, focus, focus. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, dang it. Oh, I'm not on automatic focus, am I? That's right, I set this camera up different. There we go. You can see it now, right? God, I hope have I been clear? Or have I been out of focus all this time? Okay. At his home at Palmetto Lane, after missing the court date last month, he was booked at the Lake County Jail and released after posting a $2,000 bond. Bishop had been free on a $17,000 bond following his arrest January 7th on warrants charging him with DUI with property damage, felony DUI for the third arrest within 10 years, resisting arrest and driving while license suspended. He's just gone for the whole lottery system. Here's one. Let me show you how some of these people are in the villages. You know, you think they're a bunch of sweet old people, grandma and grandma types, and wouldn't hurt a fly. They're a bunch of thieves. Some of these people are a bunch of thieves. Bottles of hand sanitizer disappearing from facilities in the villages. That means these old people are going into restrooms, going into our rec centers, going into restaurants. They're going into anywhere public. There's a bottle of hand sanitizer in there for the patrons' use, and they're stealing it, putting it in their purse and walking out the door, and guys too probably are stealing it. Thieves. Old people think they can steal anything. Problem child who had to pee, arrested after battle with father in Osceola Hills. I'm amazed how these things keep popping up after I say something. Let me see if it's the same guy. It probably is. He's been trouble over there. The neighbors don't want him there. And why mom and dad keeps putting up with this guy, I have no idea. He said, well, it's his son. What's he supposed to do? Make him go work for a living. Look at it. There he is. See that guy? He's got a problem. Village's couple's problem child who cut through a neighbor's yard because he had to pee was jailed after a disturbance. I got a feeling there's more to this story. Brian Krause, 42, was arrested Sunday at his parents' home on Victoria Drive in the village of Osceola Hills. Krause, who has a history of dodgy prosecution, mom and dad hires attorneys all the time to get him off. See, they're the problem, really. Mom and dad is the problem. They are the enablers. They're enabling this kid, this 42-year-old grown man, to be the way he is. I almost said something there. Said he had been walking home at about 11:30 a.m. and he had to pee badly, according to an arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. The New York native said he didn't feel like walking around the entire block, so he cut through the neighbor's backyard as a shortcut. He said he knew the neighbors would disapprove, but Krause cut through the neighbor's yard because he didn't have any other choice. When Krause walked through the front door, his father started yelling at him for cutting through the neighbor's yard. Krause said his father threatened to kick him out. Good for you, Dad. Now, why don't you follow through next time? Don't ever threaten your kids with anything unless you're willing to follow through. Of the house, the father threatened to call 911. Krause took the phone away. Not in Florida. That's a no-no. Neighbor called 911, hearing the disturbance at Krause's home. The neighbor described Krause as a problem person. Yes, he is. I don't want to. It's just a long thing. I don't want to keep reading it. This kid's been arrested. I don't know how many times. Krause was arrested in 2018 after a family brawl at home, but the case was dropped by the prosecutor's office. The dad got an attorney to get a deal. He was arrested in 2016 for violating an order of protection, but that case was dropped. He kept coming over to his mom and dad's house or somebody's house, whoever it was, and they had an order of protection to keep him away, and he violated that, so he got arrested again. He don't seem to listen. His mother had obtained an order of protection in 2014, and he violated it, and he was arrested. Krause was arrested in 2014 on a charge of battery and was placed on probation. Mom, Dad, what's the matter with you? Suck it up, Dad. Grow a pair. It's time for him to get out in the world and start taking care of himself. Maybe he'll respect you more for all the years you did that for him, and now it's his turn. Man, some of these kids are so entitled. They think that they don't have to do nothing and mom and dad owes them something. You don't owe them nothing. You don't owe them a college education. You don't owe them a car for graduation. All you owe them is a place to live that's clean and healthy. You feed them, you clothe them, you educate them. And then shortly after they're educated and they think their education's done and over with, help them to find a job, I think. Maybe teach them a little bit about how to do that. And help them maybe get their first apartment or something. And you teach them, you push them out of the nest. I don't understand it anymore. People are just so weird. Wildwood chief reports violent crimes down while burglaries spike in Antrim Dales. That's down by Brownwood. It's basically, they call them all kinds of things as they move around, but they're basically courtyard villas. It's a neighborhood. It's a more of a kind of a private type neighborhood. They're very, very nice. Antrim Dales is a pricey area. You can literally, from there if you want to, you could walk to Brownwood without any problem at all. Why they have so much crime there right now, I don't know. Maybe it's because they're close to 44. I don't know. Maybe it's because they got a bunch of people there with useless grandkids living with them. I don't know. Okay, that's the end of the news. That's enough. From beautiful downtown Rockport, Texas, 80 degrees outside. Sue's at the swimming pool. That's why she's not here. I wanted to do this while it was quiet. And I think I'm going to do my question and answer right after this. So if you see the same hat, and the person that we had lunch with from the police department that gave me this hat, thank you. I still wear it. This thing fits me perfect. I love this hat. So, and as everybody knows, I'm a big supporter of the police, the fire department, all the first responders. I'm a big support. I always have been. See you guys on the other side.